All right, so just so you see, this is a pretty short unit. So we have lesson, this one, and notice the numbering's a little different here. This is Unit 11, but it's Chapter 10, and we're doing all of our assignments online. They will be doing class, so if you don't have internet at home, that's okay. We're doing them in class. They're really short little online assignments we're doing with every unit. So we're doing Section 10.7 today, Section 10.1 on Wednesday. You guys know we have a holiday on Friday?
Good Friday.
Good Friday.
There's a holiday Saturday, too.
Mm-hmm. And Sunday?
And on Sunday.
All right, so then Monday we'll have our last lesson of the unit, then we'll have review and test, and then we'll be entering in. So in May we're going to do a big unit on area, surface area, and volume, which will involve several projects that we're doing dealing with area and volume and stuff. They're fun projects, I think. All right, today we're learning how to write the equation of a circle, which is this. So write this down. So it's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So when you have that, flip on over to our first page of notes, which starts on page 5. Mm-hmm. So on here it has it. So if you didn't get it on the front, it has it written for you here, and it defines what H, K, and R are. Are you guys? So HK is just the coordinates of whatever your center of the circle is, okay? So center is HK. Will you turn to the person beside you and tell them center is HK?
They're absolutely.
Tell Mr. Nobody. Mr. Nobody.
Oh.
All right, what does R stand for?
Radius.
Radius, okay? So right here, where would the center of this circle in problem 1 be? What would we call that?
Origin.
The origin. What numbers do we put in for the origin?
0.
Yeah, so our center is 0, 0. And so then I can just write x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared. Who can figure out what the radius here is?
0.
So it's 4 squares, but what are we counting by here? But if 4 is right here, what would this have to be?
The diameter?
Yeah, so this
Radius
is...
4?
Radius is 4 squares, but what does each square count as here? 2. How do we know each square counts as 2? Well, because there's a 4 here. For this to be 4, we have to be counting 2, 4, 6, 8. That's the only way it's possible. So make sure you pay attention to what's labeled for you, because the scale isn't always 1 to 1. So it would be 8 squared. And then we're just going to simplify. X minus 0 is just the same as x. So this becomes x squared plus y squared. What is 8 squared? 64. So that's my answer. See how easy it is? Do you want to try the next one in your group or all together? Alright, so here, how do I find what the center is?
You count.
Yeah, I want to make sure my center is exactly the same distance to the circle along each line that I can follow. So here it's 4 to each one, right? In every direction. So who can tell me what are the coordinates of that center? Yeah. And so I plug it in. It's just x minus 2 squared plus y minus 2 squared. And what's my radius here? Yeah, this time I am counting by ones if I look at my scale. So the radius is 4 squared. What is 4 squared? So when I have a number for the center, I go ahead and leave these in the parentheses. And just leave it as, but I always go ahead and square the radius to simplify that part. Okay, so this next part is even simpler. It tells us the center and the radius. So if the center is 0, 0, what does that simplify to? It's just my x squared and y squared, right? And who knows what 1/3 squared would be?
A small piece.
And anyone know how to square a fraction?
1/6.
You could put it in the calculator, or we'll square the top, square the bottom. So what's 1 squared? What's 3 squared? Yeah, so it's just 1/9. That's it. Alright, so this one, I start with my parentheses. X minus, what number goes into here? So if I have x minus -3, what does that become? Yeah. And then y minus what? Yeah, so y minus -5 becomes y plus 5. And radius of 8, so what number comes next? 64. We got it. Alright, you guys check in with people in your group. See if anyone needs help for just a second before we go to the next part.
Yes. I couldn't see the whole time you doing all that.
You can. Okay, so in here it tells me use the given information to write the standard equation of the circle. Okay, so I have the center and I have a point. What do I need to write the equation of the circle? I need the radius. Okay, how do I find the radius between the center and a point? Equations. What equation would I use?
The distance.
Distance one, okay? So, you guys, just so you remember what to do, if I have the center and I'm trying to find the radius, I'm just trying to say what's the distance between that and the point they give me. And so, if you're good at visualizing, you could probably think, or if you have a graph, you could graph it out, do Pythagorean theorem. We're going to use distance formula. Do you guys remember the distance formula?
No.
No.
So distance formula, it's up on the board, but we have our lights off, so it's hard to see. But it's just x2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1. Do you see how that's kind of similar to our circle equation? Okay, so I heard someone say they don't know what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to pause. Look what we did, read it, and see what your question is. Alright, did we figure out a question? Did you figure out a question? Okay, so do you want me to explain it again?
No, just like.
Just keep going.
Is the second one squared?
Yes, squared. Okay, so the really nice thing here is I have zeros. So it becomes just 4 minus 0 and -3 minus 0. So that gives us 4 squared plus -3 squared.
We just could do that instead of doing all that.
So we could. So, hey guys, one talker. So we could have just done it this way if you can recognize, oh, the distance between 0 and that is just 4, and the distance between 0 and that is still just our -3. And so then we just plug it in. It becomes 16 plus 9, which equals 25. What is the square root of 25?
5.
So radius equals 5. And so then my equation of the circle, my center is 0, 0, which means it's just the x squared plus y squared equals 5 or equals 25? Mm-hmm. All right, on this one, am I going to be able to shortcut, or do I have to do the whole distance formula? Yeah.
Shortcut.
Well, it's not 0, 0 this time, so if you can figure out a shortcut, go ahead and do it.
If you tell me the answer, then I'll have a very big shortcut.
If I tell you the answer, you'll have a shortcut, but I'm not going to. So we're going to pause.
Why?
We're going to take like 3 minutes. Workout number 6 in your groups. Trapezoid group. Now that we have the radius, what is our equation of the circle?
X squared plus y squared is 25.
It would be if our center was 0, 0 again. But since our center is 4, 5, where do we put that 4 and 5?
X minus 4 squared.
Yeah. And then y minus 5 squared. Equals what? Equals 25. Okay? So if you were not able to get all the way to there, this is something you need to make a note of. Hey, I didn't understand this before you leave class today. Make sure you get someone to help you with it. Whether that's someone in your group or me. Alright, so when you have that, flip over to our second and last page of notes for today.
Second to last.
Second and last. We have these 4 problems left.
We're gonna do them together, right?
We're going to do them together. Alright, what does it ask us to do for problem 7 and 8?
Find the center and the radius.
Find the center and the radius. What would the center of number 7 be? Yeah, so center is just 0, 0.
How do you know?
Because I look, center is what goes with the x and y, and there's no numbers there. Alright, do I have full attention up here?
Yes, ma'am.
You got it.
Alright. I have almost everyone looking. Alright, so what is our radius, or how do I find the radius for number 7? I don't need distance formula, a lot simpler.
225.
Yeah, square root of 225. Can someone plug that in your calculator? Equals 15. Alright, so then this is the way we graph it. If we're doing it real precisely, we pull out our protractors and make sure we're like setting it evenly at 18, but we're going to freehand draw it today. So you draw a point in the center, and you come out and draw a mark along each axis out on the 15. And then just do your best to connect those with a curved line. Okay, so for notes, we're just freehand drawing it. Your assignment today is on the computer, partially so that you can actually work with graphing software and do this. But that's all we're doing here. Alright, would someone from my triangle group tell me what's the center of problem 8? Alright, someone in that triangle group.
3, 2. 32.
No, it's 3 negative 2.
3 negative 2.
So answering for the other
Is
groups.
it negative 3?
So, what is it? Is it negative 3 or is it positive 3 for the center?
75.
It switches, so it's positive 3.
Oh.
And then positive 2 or negative 2?
Positive. Negative.
Negative.
Why is
So
it
remember, because the formula is always minus, then we have to switch the sign for the center. What is our radius here? Anyone? Just 4. Square root of 16. So now we graph 1, 2, 3, and then negative 2. And from that point, just count out 4 squares in every direction.
Wait, hold on. Okay, no, you lost me now.
Wait, squares? Yeah. I thought we were making circles.
Okay, so I heard some you lost me. Look back and see.
Oh, no.
Find a question. Four is right. Okay, and so see how here I'm still counting out the radius in each direction, and then I connect them with as good circles I can draw. Alright, so pause and look at it. Tell me where you are mixed up, or if you just want me to explain it all again.
On question 7.
So which part of question 7?
Oh, no. That's fine. Why'd you join us?
Okay, so on your, in Rapid Identity, you come for your assignment, click on Big Ideas Math.
Right now?
No, when you, oops, that didn't work.
On our phones.
If it doesn't work like I did, I just go back to Rapid Identity, put it up again. You're going to do this on the class Chromebooks. And so you come here, go to Assignments,
Yeah.
click on your assignment. For you, it's going to let you enter it. And what's really important is when you're in the assignment, you must save your work, okay? If you don't save your work, it will go away and you'll get a 0 for the assignment. So tell the person beside you what do you have to do in Big Ideas.
You gotta save your work.
All right, the second most important thing here, this is a short, it's 10 questions, pretty easy stuff. You are getting the grade that you submit it as. So every single question, you can check your answer twice. If you don't have the second answer by the second time, just do your best. You know, you can change it as many times as you want, but you can only check your answer twice. So here, you're just matching up, hey, what's the center here? What's the radius? What makes it the correct equation? So use that check answer button, but don't guess randomly because you'll only check your answer twice. So what are the 2 important things you have to remember with this?
Save your work.
Save your work and
Submit it.
check your answer and submit it, yes. Okay? All right, so go ahead. Once you have finished questions 9 and 10 on page 6, raise your hand, I'll come check it, and then go ahead and start Big Ideas.